Hi, Paul. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today? I'm doing good
Oh,
as
there's your
well.
video. Awesome.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so it's so nice to have you on the show, Paul. I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons, all right? Firstly, my insight and my interest in seeking knowledge, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. Now, secondly, I believe there are some things that Paul knows that some of my audience needs to hear you say these stuff, I mean, directly from your mouth, in order for them to experience transformation. I am so convinced about that. And the third one is I am convinced that I am going to learn one or two things from your story, your experiences, and your insight. So I just can't wait for you to get started now. Okay, Paul, for that
All right, let's
reason,
do it.
let's get started with your introduction, how the journey has been so far, the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Paul, over to you.
Keep it short so we can get to the good questions. I grew up in a really small town, and my dad was a farmer. I didn't really have a lot of direction in life, so I joined the military. I ended up doing that for 21 years, and I'm in my post military career now. But along the way, one of the things that I always thought was fun was never being satisfied with where I was at. Maybe satisfied isn't the right word, but I wasn't content just staying put. I was always looking for something new, something else, something different. Always kind of keeping my eyes on the horizon and moving forward. And that propelled me through a lot of really cool experiences and a lot of fun stuff. And now in my post military career, now it's been, 6 years since I retired. I'm still doing the same things. I find that once you have that as just part of your character and part of who you are, it doesn't die. So I'm exploring new things. I'm constantly learning new stuff. Before I jumped on the show with you, I was reading some articles for a project that I'm putting together, learning all about how the brain operates while it's dreaming, and yeah, just always like you said, just always seeking knowledge and kind of asking what's next.
That's a good one, I tell you, man. And I truly appreciate that about you because we are to always be a continuous learner, you know, always curious to learn about stuffs that can improve us in different aspects of our lives. That's a good one. Okay, so shall we get started with the questions, Paul?
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, now. I want you to talk to us about how to be a champion. You know, take for instance, someone say, "Hey, Paul, I really want to be a champion now." So, how do you think I can go about it? How can that be possible? What would your response be?
Well, I think there's really three ingredients. First of all, you have to have a passion for what you're doing. So if you're not fully invested in what you're doing, then it's never going to be fun to you, and you're never going to be willing to do the hard work that is required to get to that champion level. So finding something you're passionate about, I believe, is probably the first step. And then second of all, you have to develop the skills to be able to succeed. And take a professional basketball player, for example, and I've used the example of Steph Curry in the past. He's a talented individual. He always had just raw talent, but eventually he had to develop the skill, and he would go in and shoot 500 3-pointers every day for every year of his adult life, and that is what led him to becoming arguably the best shooter in the game in history, right? So you have to develop that skill and practice it hard. And then the third thing is you have to truly commit to it over time. Success is not a straight line, and success is definitely not overnight. It's often a squiggly line. Maybe it looks like more like a bowl of pasta noodles than it does a straight line between point A and point B. But the consistency is the key piece. You have to you have to apply those skills and that passion over time in order to get there. We just everybody just got a chance to watch the Olympics a couple of months ago or earlier this month. And we see at the end of the event, we see the three people standing on the podium getting their medals and all smiles, holding their flags with national anthems. But what you don't see is the years, the decades of hard work that went into getting them there. And that's what I mean by you have to find something you're passionate about. You have to develop that skill, and then you have to do it over time. And sometimes that time frame is open ended. There's no, well, if you do this for 5 years, it'll work. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 10. It really depends on you and what your circumstances are.
Brilliant. Oh man, that was a beautiful one. I love that. You actually listed them in order: passion, skill development, and commitment. I got that. I got that. Okay, so now let us talk about how to improve one's personal standard. You know, how to improve one's personal standard.
Um, well, you're gonna pick up a trend here, and I'm a pretty simple guy. I like to break things down into checklists if I can. One of the easiest ways to improve your personal standard is just simply by setting small goals for yourself. It could be a personal development goal. It could be a project that you're working on. But I think if you get in the habit of setting a goal and achieving that goal, you learn so much just through the process. I'll give you an example. If if your goal is to lose 10 pounds so that you can look good in your swimsuit at your high school reunion in a few years, that's first of all, that's a really good goal because it's going to lead you to a lot of side benefits. But what you really need to do is break that goal down into some functional milestones that you can reach. Can you lose 10 pounds in a year? Yes. Could you lose 10 pounds in 90 days? It's a little harder, but yeah, you probably can. So ask yourself, what do you need to do to be able to do that? How do I reach this goal? What are the items that I need? What are the plans that I need? What are the processes that I have to put in place? You might have to go get a gym membership. You might have to buy a new pair of shoes. You might want to get some cool headphones and build yourself a workout playlist. You might need to not modify your diet. And each one of those things may have goals of their own. My example is, I tend to be a little bit into fitness and I always try to have some sort of fitness goal, but hand in hand with that are my dietary goals. And when you're starting a dietary goal, the important piece of it is to build the habit of doing whatever it is that you set your mind to. So these people that subscribe to these fad diets, like I'm only going to eat bacon for the rest of my life, that is not sustainable. You're not going to be able to do that for the rest of your life. So when I coach people on how to properly analyze and set a good diet plan that works for them, the first question I ask is, can you do this for the rest of your life? If the answer is yes, then go for it. If the answer is no, then we need to modify it a little bit. My example is I do intermittent fasting and I try to eat 5 salads a week. It's pretty simple. I watch what goes in my mouth. Every bite that I take, I try to make sure that it's something good for me. But really, I try to eat 5 salads a week and I do intermittent fasting. Those two things I can sustain for the rest of my life if I choose to. And the byproduct of that is I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel like I'm looking better in the mirror, and that motivates me to go to the gym. And that's a whole nother subset of goals and milestones that you may want to hit. And if you line these things up properly and you measure them and you really take accountability for what you're doing, then you reach that goal. What happens when you reach the goal is something that's really cool. You get this little dopamine release inside your brain that makes you feel really good. It feels good to win, doesn't it? Everybody likes to win. So when you win something, that makes you want to win more because it feels good. So you set another goal and you go and win that. And before you know it, you've caught this momentum and it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and you become a better person through the process. So it's not necessarily the end result that you're chasing. It's the habitual process of reaching that end goal that makes you the better person. And that, I think, is what improves your personal standard. Because now you have something, you have a yes or a no, a black or a white, a plus or a minus that you can go back and grade yourself and say, did I meet my goal? Yes or no. If the answer is yes, guess what? You improved something. If the answer is no, you need to work on it a little bit more. Either way, you're moving forward.
Hmm. Hmm. I got that. I got that. That was a good one. Okay. So, how true is the statement? Winning is a choice. How true is it?
How true is it?
Yeah.
I think it's 100% accurate.
Hmm. The reason why I asked was, you know, there are folks who have been trying to win now, and you see, it's just quite difficult and it's not happening. So they might say that statement is not right because I've been trying to win. I made a choice to win, and yet I'm yet to win. So I want you to talk more on that. How winning is a
Well,
choice.
the counter question to what you just asked is, what are you trying to win at?
Mm,
That's immediately what I would throw back to that individual. What is your definition of success? Maybe you're not at a point where you can reach that. If you have a job where you make $50,000 a year and your goal is to be a millionaire by the end of next year, that's it's unattainable. You can't do that, right? So clearly defining your version of success and your version of happiness, that comes first. You have to do that before you can do anything else. And then you have to apply the things that we've already talked about. You have to apply that commitment. You have to apply these processes and you have to stick with it. Can a person who makes $50,000 a year become a millionaire? Yes, absolutely. Is it going to happen in 2 years? No. 50 plus 50 does not equal 1 million. You can't do that. But over time, if you gave it, say, 30 years, maybe you can get there. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen in between, a lot of really good choices, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of management of resources that has to go into that, but you could do it, right? So defining your version of success, I think, has to be first and foremost.
brilliant. I got that. Okay. So where did the one of five project came from?
I was working a I was working on another project with an author to put together a book, and we were brainstorming some things. And Jim Rohn, a famous motivator and public speaker, has a quote floating out there that says, "You're the average of the five people that you spend the most time with." And we started talking around that just a little bit. And I said, "Well, hey, what if you think about it not from," as soon as I say that to somebody, they start thinking about the five people they spend the most time with and how those five people influence them. And I said, well, let's flip it around and let's say, how do you influence someone else? What if you're one of somebody's group of five and you have influence on them? And so that led us to talking about improving your personal standard so that you can be the best version of you that you can be and thereby influencing other people in a very positive way.
Smart one. I got that. Okay, to bring this to an end, Paul, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, maybe you said something that resonated well with them and they would like to learn more. How can that be possible?
Yeah, I guess my final thoughts to someone would be, it's never too late to start your personal improvement journey. It's never too late to begin. If you're 15 years old or if you're 50 years old, it doesn't matter. The important piece is that you start. And it's like the old Chinese proverb that says a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You have to begin. And I would encourage those people who maybe aren't used to doing some of this stuff, who are maybe new to it, to find a mentor, find someone that they can ask questions to, find someone that is maybe smarter than them in a particular field, whatever the goal you set may be. Find somebody that's smarter than you, and maybe they can give you some guidance, maybe they can help you out, maybe they can provide to you some experience that they had to help you overcome some of these hurdles. Because guess what, it's not easy. None of this stuff is easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. but it's not. And that's why you have people who stay put and you have people that climb a success ladder, because some people are willing to put in the effort and begin that journey and other people are not. It's hard and it's difficult to look yourself in the mirror sometimes and hold yourself accountable and give yourself that grade at the end of the day. Did I meet my goal? Yes or no? And it's not, well, maybe, kind of. No, it's you did or you did not. Yeah, I encourage people to have a tracking mechanism, and I do mine in the form of a whiteboard, and I have it color coded so that I can see red means I failed and black means I did good. So those are the little tips and tricks that you would get from having a mentor or having a coach or having somebody to at least give you a starting point. So that would be something that I would leave the listeners with. As
Brilliant.
far as getting in touch with me,
Yeah,
you can go to my website, www.paulroscoewhite.com, and all my contact information is on there. I have a contact submit form. I've got my email listed, and I'm on all the social medias at Paul Roscoe White.
beautiful. Thank you, Paul. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for coming and thank you for,
All right, thanks.
sharing this amazing stuff with us. It means a whole lot, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.